Hello everyone, Lisa Thomas from BNI Melbourne North and the Inner West. Here we are doing the Northside Notable podcast, which is all about celebrating our local high performers. A lot of the times we look externally, like nationally or internationally, for people to get inspiration from, and we have a lot of local people that are actually brilliant at what they do as well. So today we've got Jasmiit Singh with us. So hi, Jasmiit.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am extremely well as long as I'm breathing. That's it.
I know you
That's
always
the
say
only condition that I have. Other
So-
than that, it's fine.
So would you like to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So, in a nutshell, I'm going to be very nice and easy, crisp, so that we can all understand that very well. What I do is I help people create $8,700 monthly passive income in 8 years. That's what I do. And we actually start from A to Z. And what do I mean by that? So we have a 4-step process. Number one is we do a quick call. It's an introduction call. Number 2 is we do a discovery call. Number 3 is we share our strategies when you are ready to come on board. And after that, we do the execution bits. And that's where the fun begins. And what do I mean by that? Anybody who wants to start their property investing journey and get to the goal that they're trying to achieve, they have to have the right team. And BNI obviously is a great platform, and that's why I have a great team who I can help people to start extremely well. The reason I do that is I actually spent about $10,000 to $12,000 just to get my structure right. And right structure will actually allow you to go to the next level very quickly. And what do I mean by that? That only 1% or 0.89% of the people have got 6+ properties. And I was able to buy 7+ properties in 2.5 years. And credit goes to the right team that I had, but also the structure that I have from the get-go. We also do buying commercial. I particularly do commercial buying and development land because I'm a property developer myself. But I do have a team who has started to do residential. So we are doing a full service from A to Z if you want to create passive income. And if you don't want to work and if you want to learn how to get semi-retired at 33, because that's what I was able to do.
So why are you so passionate about this, Jasmiit? I've met you a number of times, and you're very passionate about helping people be financially secure. Is that what you'd say? Or why are you so passionate about this? What's led you here?
So let me take you back to when I was 18 years old. I come from a property family. My father retired as a project manager. My grandfather was a very successful developer. But when I was 18 years old, we were almost bankrupt. And I've seen that. And I've never shared this before, but I'm going to share this for the very first time on a podcast or anywhere, that we had people coming in because my father owed money to some bad people too.
Oh, okay.
And what my father knew, that what time would they come? They usually used to come late at night. And me and my brother were always home, along with my grandfather. So that pain is something that drives me as well. And I really wanted to get my money right in a way that I wanted to learn about money, because in schools, we really don't have that education. No. And I don't think so that we are ever going to get that. So that's why I'm extremely passionate. Remember, you are 16, let's just say you're 16 or 17 years old.
Yes.
And bad people are coming at home late night, 11 p.m. They're knocking on your door.
Yes, that would be very frightening.
So that's why I'm extremely passionate. I really, really want to help people, because me and my brother was obviously, I was very protective of him because he was 2 years younger. But it was not a very good. But that just helped me. I've never complained about that either, by the way, because I'm really grateful that happened. That led me to where I am right now, because I'm extremely passionate and I really, really want to help people, because I think I've seen the worst of it. So yeah, this is my first time actually sharing this story about this.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing it with us. So What are some of the key services that you offer for people?
So when I talk about key services, we are a buyer's agency. What we basically do is we help people buy the right properties so that they can grow their portfolio, because it's got to be a combination of growth and cash flow. And in particular, I particularly deal with commercial properties and development sites, because I'm a developer and I do develop, so I know some of the things. My grandfather was a very successful developer too. But I think I briefly mentioned about my team. We've got a team now. They have started to work on residential as well, because not everyone is able to go to commercial straight away. Even I was not able to go to commercial straight away. I had to start with the residential to be able to go to the next level, which is the development and the commercial. So that's what we do. We find right properties in the growth area, which will give you a combination of cash flow as well, so that you are able to secure your family's future by investing in property. Because I think in Australia, we are crazy about properties.
We are.
Right? We're
are.
crazy about property. So, but I didn't want to say this, but I have to say this. Our financial system is corrupt. And what we really need to do is we have to understand, especially in the Western countries, that all the governments will always really devalue the money. That's why the property prices keep going up. Now, this is something that I learned when we had that incident when we were almost bankrupt. That forced me to really understand the game. I only really have the operational cost of the business in my sitting in the bank account. Everything else is invested in property.
Wow. Okay.
Because I understand the game. If you see yesterday, Feds have dropped 50 basis points in the US. Market tanked. And guess what's going to happen in the next few months? The property value is going to start to going up again. Because they've dropped the rate. That means that they devalued the money again.
Yes. Yep.
And that's why it's going to go up again, so that the property prices are going to start to go up again.
So what are some of the, I suppose, pitfalls that people get into because they don't get help or they don't have somebody advising them? What are some of the common things that happen?
They listen to their friends.
Or their family sometimes.
Or their family.
That don't necessarily have a lot of experience yet.
Exactly my point. And secretly, let me tell you something, guys. This is for everyone who's listening to this. Secretly, when your friends and family have made the mistake, they want you to do the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they don't want to see you grow.
Oh, okay.
Secretly, yes. They wouldn't admit to it, but that's what happens. About, I would say, 80% of the friends and family are just there just for sake of it. They're not really actual family or friends.
Okay.
That's what my take is. So because they've made the mistake, oh yeah, look, we have invested. They may know something about the property or the area or the location, but they still won't share it. That's what we've seen, by the way.
Okay. So
and that happens very often.
So that's the most common thing. People listen to their family or their friends.
Thing.
Yeah.
Most common thing. If I need help from a plumber, I wouldn't go to an electrician, right? Would I?
No, that's correct.
They are not in the same profession. They don't do that day in, day out. We do this absolutely every day. So if I have a plumbing problem, I will go reach Marty. Shout out to you, Marty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will go reach him, right? I wouldn't reach out to Marty, which is our electrician, by the way. Shout out to Marty. So I wouldn't do that, right? I would know, hey, if I need an electrician, I will go to Marty. And if I need a plumber, I will go to Marty. It's TY, by the way, guys, just making sure, right? So I only really go to the right people. I wouldn't come to you if I want cakes. I will go to Priyanka.
Yes, of course.
Because you don't...
I don't do cakes.
Exactly.
No.
So that's my point. And why do we do this when we are making the biggest purchase of our freaking life? Like, we are going to spend 600,000 to 700,000 or sometimes million as well, but we don't get the advice from the professionals.
No, that's true. That's true.
Why would you not do that? So that is the biggest problem that I see, and they want to do DIY. Do it yourself. Again, there are times that you will get to that stage when you will be able to understand that, yes, you know what, I'm comfortable, I've made enough mistakes, or I've learned enough to do this DIY. I understand that, but that takes time.
Yes.
You ought to consider doing at least 10 property transactions to be able to get to that stage, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
That's
right?
your opinion, yes.
I could be absolutely wrong. Some people may be able to start doing really well, and the exceptions are always there once they've done 3 to 4 transactions, and I understand that, right? But just my own, I have done about just my own, not for the clients. I've done 25 transactions just my own for the last 3 years.
Wow.
So it's me putting my own money, buying and selling properties. 25 of my own transactions.
Yes.
Sorry, 24.
24.
Right?
Okay.
So
you've had a lot of experience.
yes. That's it. And I just know, hey, these are the conditions that we're going to do. I actually just met Ernie, one of our other BNI fellow members, and we were talking about a few things. And he asked me a couple of questions, and I said, look, man, let me give you an answer. So I have done deals with just $1,000 or $10,000. I was talking to him about one of my developments that I did. So the property value was about $950. I gave the owner $980. I said, I will give you more than the property price, but I need 18 months settlement.
Okay.
Now that's when I was able to get my DA done, my approvals done. And by the time it come to settlement time, I've already made up that money. That property was valued at about 1.2. Okay. I haven't even spent any money except the deposit that I gave them and the other money that I spent on just securing the property. So you don't always need money to really make money. Now, this is something most of the people don't have the experience.
True.
So yes, get to DIY, but I think there has to be, appropriate time for you to do it, yeah.
So do you have a recent success story or
Sure.
or something that you can share with us?
Absolutely. And this is for all the single mothers. So one of our single mothers called from Sydney, and she's a tram driver from memory. And what she said, hey, I am getting all the pressure from my family because she had 2 properties. So one that she's living in and the other one in Perth.
Okay.
And she was getting, hey, all my family members are like, hey, sell this property, sell this property, sell this property. You've made enough. And there were some real estate agents involved as well who were trying to push her to sell it. And she obviously got to know about us, and she got us on the call. And it was a strategy session that I did with her. And I told her, hey, look, it's just a strategy session, so we're going to charge you a fee. And she was like, okay, that's no problems at all. So I actually I asked her, hey, how old is your son? And she mentioned in the conversation that I have a son. And she said, I've got 10-year-old. I was wonderful. So I said, if you sell this property today, do you think that by the age your son will be 20, you'll be able to make $1 million? And she said, there's no way in hell that I can make $1 million. I said, this is exactly you would do if you sell this property right now. So we made her $1 million without even she lifting her finger, because one bad decision in property can lead you to so many unrealized losses, is what I call it.
Yes.
People don't understand that you sell the property at the wrong time, you've lost a lot of money which you have no idea about.
Yep.
So she made $1 million without even lifting her finger. And you know what she said? She said, I want to double the fee that you charge. I said, no, that's okay. You don't have to do it. And she obviously paid me the double the strategy session that I charged for, because she saw that, you know what, it was valuable, and I made $1 million.
Wow. I'm sure there's lots of people that would like that
Yes.
to happen. Much better than buying a Tatslotto ticket.
Well, that's another topic that we don't want to go into, and think that's another, how do I put it nicely? I'm trying to look for words. I think that's the worst way to invest your money.
Yeah.
That's the worst way to invest your money.
So, Jasmiit, you're part of our group in
Epping.
So BNI Business Elite. So how has BNI really helped you with your business?
So obviously this is not my first business. This is my 3rd business. I started my first couple of businesses in 2018, which I sold my books or business, if you want to call it, in 2021. And I'll take you back to 2018 when I went to BNI for the very first time. And it was my first time, and all they were talking about were givers gain, and givers gain.
Yes.
And I often share the story that the way that I was raised was my grandma raised me and my brother. And she always used to say, hey, look after others and you'll get looked after. And I was like, oh, no wonder. So I joined BNI straight away. I was like, no, that's it. That's what I want to do. So BNI actually played a very important role in the first couple of businesses that I sold. Helped me building the business as well. Partly, obviously, there were other social media. I have to give credit to social media where it's due. But BNI obviously played a very important role, and I made so many great relationships and relations that it's not even funny that you need something, you just call. Hey, mate, this is what's happening. And not just within your group. It's basically if you want to call, I call someone in Brisbane. I was looking for help because we bought a property for our clients in Brisbane. And they were like, I called the guy. I was like, hey, man, I'm BNI Epping. He goes, oh, hey, man, how you going? It's like a cult when I entered before.
A shared group of values. We
of
all
course.
have a shared group.
Yes,
of values.
and I was just kidding, by the way. We're not a cult, right, guys? Calm down.
So have you got a good referral story for us from BNI?
Yeah. Khan, shout out to you, man. So referral to me or the ones that I've shared?
Totally up to you.
Okay, cool. So we actually onboarded a client, and they had 4 properties in Melbourne, and they were paying $15,000 monthly just to pay their mortgages.
Wow.
$15,000. And the guy was working like hell. He wouldn't see the kids. He wouldn't see his partner. And they got in touch with me, and we sat down. I was like, guys, $15,000. Do you know how much money is that? And going forward with the land taxes, which are going to come in picture, it's just going to probably be more, close to about $20,000 we're looking at. So they ended up selling all their properties through Khan.
Yes.
And
from Ristic Real Estate.
From Ristic Real Estate. Shout out to you. $1,000 to you. Then you have to pay me just for this, by the way. Right. So yeah. So Khan and his team sold all their properties, and Khan was very happy. And I think it was about close to $20,000 worth of business to him. Probably more. I just have to double check. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And the people, obviously, you gave them advice on what to do with their money.
So that's exactly what we're doing. We are finding properties for them in Queensland, or it's either going to be South Australia, but it's going to be a commercial property.
Yep.
The reason for that is we sat down with them. We made sure. I think if anybody wants to take anything from this podcast, these are the most important questions you want to ask yourself before you start your investment journey. Number one is, what do you want and by when? Like, get very precise about it. Hey, I'm 31 today. I want $10,000 monthly passive income in 10 years. This is just an example, by the way. It doesn't have to be 10,000. You can choose your number. And there's a formula to do that as well. The formula is extremely simple. Anybody can apply it. Go back, look at your 3-month statements, last 3-month statements. Whatever your expenses are, except the rent, add it up. Average it out and add another 15% on top of that. Because what's going to happen, inflation is going to keep going up. And when you add 15% on top of your goal that you're trying to achieve, you are ahead of the curve like by 5 years.
Yep.
So what it does is, obviously the rent's going to go up at the same time. What it does is it helps you to make sure that you are able to catch up with inflation, or you are ahead of inflation, and you still have that passive income that you're able to need to be survive. Second question. This is the most important question, I think, for anybody else, because I just want to give you a stat before I give you this question. Is number one, only 15% of the people when they retire have anything except their super. And that super is probably not going to go for a long time.
No, that's correct.
So why are you doing it? What's going to drive you? And we have obviously a presentation that we send to our clients when they come on board with their and that particular presentation is their goal
Yes.
and why are they doing it. And we've particularly mentioned on that particular slide, print it and put it on your fridge, bed, anywhere you want in your bathroom so that it keeps reminding you.
Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it? And top 3 reasons. We read them. We asked them to write it down on that slide before we even go to our discovery session. Hey, send it to us before we actually meet up for our discovery session.
Yep.
So what do you want and by when and why do you want it? You ought to consider answering those questions before you even doing it, because this is not going to be a very straightforward journey as most of us. Because look, 85% of the people are not able to do it.
No, that's true.
So these are the most important questions I think we need to answer before we go any further.
So, is there any industry trends or things that are happening at the moment that are that people should be considering?
Yeah, look, we had a 50 basis point cut in Feds, and that led to $1.05 trillion lost in stocks. 1.05 trillion, not billion. It's a trillion. Now, the money has obviously been lost, and what's going to happen is I think that property is going to go up again. It's not funny. I know some of the people are struggling to get to their first one, but yeah, it's going to go up. Get onto it as soon as humanly possible. Do whatever it takes. Don't have to buy a fancy home straight away. My first house was the shittiest house on a good location. Seriously. Like my first 4 houses were shittiest houses.
Well, don't they say that? Buy the
worst house
house on the best
great
street.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is basics, guys. You know this. But I just executed it. That's it.
Yep.
I bought the shittiest house. Just buy them as soon as humanly possible. That's probably the trend that I see. Next year, we'll have some buying opportunity. The market in Australia is slowing down a bit for sure. But as soon as we have the cuts in Australia, it's going to go up.
Yeah.
And I have been yelling this since February, early this year, when RBA did not raise their interest rate. I said, this is either a start of a new cycle or it is almost the end of the cycle. Now, what happens is when the RBA do not increase the rates, they keep it stabilized. That basically means the new cycle has already started.
Yes.
This is the best time that you want to buy. So, and when you actually make the money when you have the interest rate cuts next year. And I'm expecting that that's what's going to happen. Maybe now because Feds in the US have done it earlier. Well, partially that was political as well. They have their elections in November. So I'm pretty sure Dems were obviously lobbying them for sure. Hey, we need a cut. We need a cut. And not a best way to do it, but hey, politics.
Yes, politics. All right. So, is there anything else that you would like people to know if they were listening to this podcast? Is there any other tidbits you'd like to share, or do you think you've shared everything?
I think I've shared quite a bit. What they really have to do, they have to sit down with themselves and really, really answer those questions. Like really dig deep, go inside, talk to your partner. Hey, where are we? What are we trying to achieve? I was trying to help a couple of doctors. I was trying to help a couple of doctors, and the wife wanted the nice house, and that's fine, perfectly okay. And the guy wanted a house with a bigger land so that they could do it. They both were doctors, both were smart, and they both were, having a bit of, I wouldn't say fight, but a rift, for sure. So I had to counsel them first.
Yes.
I was like, guys, there's only one important question that you want to ask yourself. Is this house the house that you can live in for the next 10 years? And they said no. I said, if that's the case, then you ought to consider the investment perspective or angle on this property, because you're not going to be living in this property for a long, long time. So you ought to consider that you can do something in the property on this property later on. And I think, just ask yourselves questions. What are you trying to achieve? Get clarity on the goal that you're trying to achieve, and why are you doing it? Like seriously, that is the most important question, I guess.
Well, that keeps you motivated when.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, most definitely. It's always good to know your why. So, I always like to close off the podcast with a book or a podcast or something that you listen to that you think is really worth sharing with the audience.
I think, look, all the books by Ray Dalio, they are absolutely gem. But in particular, if you really want to understand the cycles, how the money market works, Principles for Dealing with Changing World Order is a great book. In that book, Ray Dalio has actually gone back to 1500s and all the kingdoms that we've had thus far and why they rose and fell. And that is all cycles. Everything is in cycles. So
Yes.
once you understand the cycles, you can actually make money because you already know, hey, by the way, whatever is happening right now, whatever happened yesterday has already happened in 2001 and has already happened in 2007 as well. Every time Feds cut their rate by 50 basis point, you know what it takes you? Recession in the US. So everything that you're seeing right now has already happened in the history or happened in the past. All you got to do is you just got to understand and learn about it. And Ray Dalio's books are just absolutely amazing to be able to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure's mine.
So thank you for coming along, Jasmeet.
Thank you for having me.
And yes, we've really enjoyed talking to you about property.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. I hope you have an amazing day and thank you so much for having me again.